Hey guys, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. Today I'm going to be reacting to Linfamy, History of Japan. Today's episode is called Romance in Early Japan, Best Dating Ritual. Yes, after last week's episode, the seduction game. Yeah. I'm kind of worried about this episode. I'm really worried, but let's hear out what Linfamy has to say. 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey, did you know that the Japanese in the Heian period had a whole dating ritual with cakes and poems and secret creepy night visits? If you think that dating today is complicated, get a load of what they did back then. The whole process started off with a matchmaker. By the way, we're talking about the elites in the Heian courts in this video, not peasants. The matchmaker would let a man or his family know of a lady who would be a good candidate. It's weird to us, but they were pretty lax about marriage between relatives. The only
Wait, where do these matchmakers come from? I mean, who appoints these matchmakers? Are they part of the family that are the matchmakers, or is it some sort of government institution that, appoints matchmakers?
absolutely forbidden, taboo, what the hell is wrong with you marriages were between a parent and child and between brother and sister. There was a gray area which was between step-parent and stepchild that was seen as wrong, but you know what? Sometimes love finds a way, and people did it anyways. Such couples encountered weird looks, but did not encounter mobs with pitchforks. Anything else was fair game. Uncles, aunts, nephews, cousins, all perfectly fine. Alright, now both families had to look at all kinds of factors to determine if the two were a good match. What was not a factor was the opinion of the couple. It was very much an arranged marriage for political, economic, or social gain. The woman's family wanted a good husband who had good connections that would allow him to rise the ranks in court, preferably a husband who already had a high rank. The man's family wanted a sugar mama, a wife from a family that had enough wealth and resources to support him in his government career. Daughters actually became more valuable than sons. You could marry your daughter up into a family of much higher status. It was harder for your son to marry up because the bride's family usually wanted someone of a higher status than them, not some low-status loser. The Fujiwara famously married their daughters into the imperial family, allowing them control over the Heian court. Also, children were raised in the wife's household, giving the wife's family significant control over the next generation. Daughters of powerful clans.
And that's also how the Fujiwara clan solidified its dominance on the imperial family, is that all the children who were born from these royal family members, including the emperor, their children were studied and taught under the Fujiwara doctrine. And thus it continued further and further down the line. So yeah, quite interesting.
And had a bunch of men chasing after them. A common trope in Heian literature was the wife battle, where multiple men would compete for a woman's hand in marriage. You can see this in The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter, which coincidentally I made a video about. Go watch it after this one. Okay, after all the discussion and negotiation, if each family swipes right, the matchmaker would set things up, gather mailing addresses and phone numbers, and the dating ritual would commence. The whole process consisted of an initiation and 3 visits. So let's paint a picture of our couple. Our dashing young man is Bob Bunaga, and our lovely lady is Nina Moto. Babunaga kicks off the proceedings by writing Ninamoto a poem with 31 syllables called a tonka. He writes something romantic like, I can't stop thinking about the shape of your sleeves. Were it up to me, I would crawl deep inside them and only come out to pee. After experiencing that romantic, fluid-inducing poetry, Ninamoto writes a response poem. In practice, it was more common for another member of her family to write the poem, someone who was really good at it. This response poem is no joke. Nowadays, we obsess over the meaning of a smile emoji. Is it just a friendly smile, or is it a I want you to hold me down daddy smile?
That's true.
Sometimes it's hard to tell. Well, back in the Heian, they did the same thing times 100. Babunaga probes every part of that letter. Every detail is important. Is the paper of good quality? The family must be rich. Is her calligraphy ugly? She must be an ugly person. Is the poem mind-blowing? She must not mind. He goes through every inch of that letter like a detective, gathering clues about the mystery girl. If Babu Naga finds something unspeakable, like an ink smudge, he'd ghost her and move on. But the poem is pretty good, so they make plans to secretly meet at her place at night. Let's call this the first visit, because that's what it is. Now, about these secret visits, the lady's family was not supposed to know about them, but in practice, the family knew. They just employed the waiter method, where they ignored the man creeping around their home while looking directly at him. So the first night, Babu Naga creeps into Minamoto's home and they sleep together. Oh, I guess they talk, too. He leaves early the next morning, as is customary. What happens next is critical. Minamoto and her family wait in anticipation, and then let out a sigh when a messenger comes with the next morning letter from Babu Naga. The letter contains the usual lovey-dovey stuff, but the fact that it exists means game on. Last night went well. Minamoto's family even rewards the messenger with gifts and drinks, and Minamoto replies with her own love letter. The next night, Babu Naga visits again for a second skirmish under the sheets, and leaves much like the first night. More letters. On the third and most important night, Minamoto's family makes these rice cakes called miyako mochi and puts them in her room. People in the Heian got married without a big wedding or any legal paperwork. A couple was married if their friends and families recognized them as married. That's it. The couple did go through 2 small rituals, though. The rice cakes were to honor the Shinto gods Izanagi and Izanami, who were husband and wife, also brother and sister. Eating the cakes united the couple religiously, and the next morning the man could stay with the lady without worry. The second ritual was eating with the wife's family. Minamoto's family organizes a small feast and invites Babu Naga and a few of his friends over. They don't invite Babu Naga's parents. This occasion does not involve them. The public feast is the first time Babu Naga meets his wife's family. And with that, the happy couple is officially married, and he can see her openly, no more creeping about. Now, if you saw the last video about the Heian seduction game, you may be wondering where that fits into this dating process, because that looked a lot different. Well, it's the difference between a one-night stand and dating. The former was for fun times, the latter was for a serious relationship that may lead to marriage.
Both are equally complicated and weird. Really, the high status people, the socialites, the nobles and rich people, their lives were so complicated. I'm wondering how the peasants, initiated dating or one night stands. I'm sure it was totally different from what we're seeing here.
Of course, like today, there was overlap between the two. What started out as fun times could lead to something more serious, and then your life was over. Nah. Actually, that was how a lot of secondary marriages happened. They grew from something less serious. Marriages to secondary wives had a similar dating ritual, but those happened over long periods of time instead of just 3 nights. Whoa, we passed 50,000 subscribers. Jeez, I can't believe how much the channel has grown. Thank you so much for all your support. I couldn't have done it without you, literally. And you guys write such nice comments. There's actually a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. Your comments keep me going. They're really important. I read all of them, and I try to respond to as many as I can. I want to respond to all of them, but it's impossible. I hope you understand that. Also, Lil Linfamy has leveled up to level 6 because we surpassed another Patreon goal. He gained a new helmet. This also means I'll disable that pesky ad bar at the bottom. Alright, we have a new Emperor patron, Erin Moriarty, child of Professor Moriarty. Welcome, Erin. And the new patrons are Eben Flo, she got Flo, Ruby M, and Anthony Dosimo. Love you and spread the knowledge.
Okay guys, that was Linfamy History of Japan, Romance in Early Japan, Best Dating Ritual. Yeah. Look, it's complicated, it's weird. It is so weird, having visiting your potential husband or wife in the middle of the night in the parents' home, and you wake up in the morning and, you see the parents, and the parents are like, it's okay, we're fine with that. And then you just go home, and then you come back with a letter saying that, oh, I really loved that night, it was beautiful, and sending romantic words to each other. And then you come back on the second night, you do the same thing. The third night as well, you do the same thing. But on the third night, they give you specific rice cakes to signify that, you know, you guys are going to be together. And it's so weird. It's so weird. This is just so weird. Guys, yeah. That's it for today with Linfamy. If you like the video, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I will see you next week Tuesday. Okay, bye bye.